and welcome back to Star Trek, the original series, Season 2, Episode 11, Friday's Child, or as real fans know it, Episode 3, where today we did not forget to plug in the microphone, and so get really confused as I kept trying the intro, and it wouldn't work. That's not what happened. It was an artistic choice. Well, yes, today we're going to choke on our own saliva. Today we are going to be discussing a far better episode than last week, unless you're watching in release order, in which case I think that's Journey to Babel. Actually, no, we're not. I've remembered. I have to address the fact that this is not a Section 31. Last I checked, Friday's Child, Section 31, different things. Yeah, we're not doing that stream. It's not even bad. That's the problem, is that the Section 31 isn't even okay, sorry, I'm getting at myself. Let me explain what's going to go on, and then we'll get into a brief Section 31 thing as people set up. If you don't know what we're doing, we are going to be essentially creating an audio commentary track live. So, of course, for legal reasons, I can't just stream an episode of Star Trek. So bring your own video, bring your audio. Link is in the description to Paramount Plus. In a little bit, after I ramble, we're going to do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, everyone hits play, and you'll be synced up. Personally, I am watching the remastered version. It doesn't matter for, like, syncing up. But if I comment on an effect, it'll be different. I don't remember this episode being effects heavy, but given it was the 3rd produced and the 11th released, I think that tends to imply there was a lot of post-production. This episode needed more time. That's a huge gap. That's a 9-episode gap. But this whole season actually is kind of weird. Like, we've had the 7th, 9th, and 11th episode by release order going first. Interesting. But, yeah, so I ramble as people get set up. We won't be skipping intros. We won't be doing any of that junk. We're just letting it play. Why aren't we reviewing Section 31, the movie, which came out yesterday, if you aren't watching this live? It was just unengaging. This is my review of Section 31. It'll be like just a few minutes if you want to don't care and just want to get a drink or something. As I said, so I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched 16 minutes, realized that it wasn't going to be a stream. And then at 19 minutes, I realized I would rather be doing literally anything else, and we watched classic Doctor Who with my wife. That's what happened. It was, the main thing is unengaging. I just didn't connect with any of it. Maybe after that 20 minutes, there's like a much better plot. It gets better. From the reviews I've read, at best, it's like an okay heist action movie. But the problem is it wasn't engaging enough, and there wasn't enough happening to do a watch along. That whole 20 minutes would have been essentially dead air, and every now and then I'd basically nitpick something. We'll get back to that. It's like when these TOS episodes have like a really slow patch, it's a little hard to fill time. So I wasn't going to do that, and I just didn't want to, sit through it. But it wouldn't be a review because I had nothing to say of any substance beyond very little details I wouldn't remember unless we're doing a watch-along. So it was just basically incompatible. But also, as I said before, the main thing that's going to not make me do it is that I don't want to. At some point, I'll probably go and finish it if I'm sick or I'm in the mood for that. But I kept wanting to grab for my phone just for something to entertain me. 20 minutes is a quarter to a fifth of that movie. And nothing happened. But what also struck me for being written for 5 years or something crazy like that, it was, I swear it was before COVID, or at least the very early days that they started writing that movie in some form or another, is it was weirdly a bit lazy. It opens with 3 incredibly cliched things, like a quote that doesn't really make grammatical sense, but I know it was Greek, you just translated it weird. It opened by establishing it's in the Terran Empire, but examining it as a movie for totally new people doesn't really establish what that was. I got a lot of vibes of the mix that the Doctor Who movie had, where it's the things you don't think about if you're going for like a this is essentially not Star Trek kind of vibe. Which, for the record, I'm sure there's room for plenty of movies that are in the Star Trek universe that have essentially nothing to do with Star Trek. But like the whole thing about Georgiou, how she became emperor, was weird. I can't spoil the movie beyond like the first 20 minutes. This is the opening scene where like she became emperor as a child through a weird Hunger Games, but like surely we're pushing against Hoshi and Enterprise, but like it's been going for years. Was the Empire like emperorless? We see how often betrayal is. No one swooped in. Like she has to torture her friend, but like she's the emperor. So like why? I'm never told why she can't just say no. I'm emperor now. Also, I sentence you to death. Because she's emperor. They give that opening speech about, like, your mission, should you choose to accept it. And when they're saying the bit about, Georgiou disappeared, and we don't know why, they play scenes from Discovery Season 3, which Section 31 can't know about, let alone have footage. The whole thing is they're saying we don't know what happened. Well, they're showing what happened. So is this an in-universe mission briefing, or is it an out-of-universe exposition jump, the first of, like, 3 in those 20 minutes I watched? It introduced, like, 2 of the main cast were characters that seemed to be stand-in for disabilities, which I genuinely can't tell if was an attempt at representation, or being played for comedy, or both, somehow. But it came off, at least in those first expositions, as like feeling a bit icky, speaking as an autistic person. Like the laughing Vulcan just wasn't super enjoyable, but I felt like we were supposed to laugh at his inappropriate behavior, which if we extend the Vulcan allegory to autism is like you essentially can since the 60s before we discovered autism, is icky. And then you had the guy, this is where I stopped watching, who had like cyber dysphoria or something, augment dysphoria, whatever, which I think is kind of like either an evolution or a play off gender dysphoria, but the guy like seemed to want to be acknowledged that his robot body was him, which is the opposite of dysphoria. It had like the cliched introduce everyone. It just felt weirdly lazy. The dialogue wasn't interesting. That's why we're not doing it. And because it wasn't even bad. It was just boring. And I'm sure there's a million things I'll think of even in that 20 minutes, like, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. But the whole thing just had that weird kind of off vibe to it. And yeah, I gave up. I might not even get it on Blu-ray, honestly, but that's probably enough Section 31 talk. I at least wanted to acknowledge it. Maybe one day I'll be a bit sick and no one will be home. I'll just plop on a stream. I'm in the mood to just be a bit grumpy. I don't know, but that just seems to be the vibe from everyone is, what kind of were you thinking, really? Like, you spent 5 years on that? But we're talking about, what are we talking about today? Friday's Child. That's the episode. Much better, presumably. No, much better. I'll actually finish the thing. Yes, as I said earlier, I think it's just time. Get straight into it. All I really remember about this episode is, like, Bones and a pregnant woman have a slapping fight, and there's Klingons. I don't really remember much else. I think it's kind of fun. I think most of the Klingon episodes are at least decent, from what I can remember of TOS. So yeah, as I said before, 5-second countdown. I almost said 5 minute. A 5-second countdown. I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I'm actually going to hit play. This is not play for the episode. I need to wake up my hard drive. A 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And then on go, everybody's going to hit play. And we should be synced up. Don't skip the intro. Start from the beginning. Yada, yada, yada. And it should be good. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Do I need a warp catchphrase? Like, that's a thing now in Star Trek. Kirk doesn't really say anything, but then again, how many times are they actually at warp in TOS? Like 3 times? Because usually it's here. They just arrive somewhere, and that's the episode. I've never really thought about that. Oh, who edited this? That was a cut in his little report. Standard orbit, of course, in TOS means they're not actually in orbit. They're just flying like a plane in the atmosphere. Because if they lose power, they just fall to the ground instantly. Why are we here? That's my analysis. Good lord, Spock. Is it... What did they say? Migration treaty? Or any kind of treaty? I assume it's something with the Klingons, but I don't understand why we're here. And of course, we have to shed kind of the expectations of what the Federation would actually do. It is TOS. We don't have a Federation yet. Not for... Hang on, if we go release order, there is a Federation. Last episode. So yeah, screw you. I will acknowledge the Federation. No. Well, I got bad news, little guy on the right. I love how he's even looking around a bit nervous. Like this poor ensign. He's like, God, I'm the only one in red. I do like these costumes, though. I like the color, which isn't usually something you see in this more sort of tribal-esque design. Oh, look at that. Come on, man. You're an ensign. Don't try and tell me you fought in the Discovery War. But no, they seem sensible, like the sort of thing you might wear in a slightly colder environment with a more militaristic, honor-bound culture. But they're aliens still, you know? It's those recognizable elements that make sense, like the fur for warmth, or the sort of full-body thing. That might even be for protection. You've got sensible enough styles, like those hooded things they have. Maybe there's a real Earth culture that has that, but that kind of flat cap with almost like the ski mask thing going down the sides. But all the color, you just never really see that. I guess because color is hard on Earth. Like, generally you need, you know, some kind of more advanced processing. The hunter-gatherer tribes are just going to be whatever the heck the pelts they find, you know, what color that is. But, you know, maybe this planet's different, so I actually do like these uniforms a lot. I kind of wish we just saw changes of colors more in the more modern shows. And I even mean, like, 80s Trek. Because I don't think you play around with color too much outside TOS. Ah, there we go. I mean, as much as we kind of make fun, or I guess, of how, like, the Federation would never do that, this is the sort of thing that, like, does actually feel more ethical, you know? Like, the whole Prime Directive, the more you get into it, is just, like, horrifically unethical and just sustains the powerful being powerful. I know I did a video on, like, the Prime Directive makes no sense. It's why it's not supposed to. Because really the only way to make the Prime Directive any sort of ethical is to just declare and practice it doesn't work. And I get we can't just discard the Prime Directive. It's too core to Star Trek. But it would be interesting to get more takes on, like, a Federation, like, sort of good guy entity that actually will work with pre-warp cultures, because I assume it's Star Trek set this in, but the idea of the Prime Directive is just so ingrained in Star Trek, this is what the good guys do. It can get a bit tiring outside the context of Star Trek, and honestly, even in Star Trek, where it originated. I bet these are also nice to film in. I don't know what to call them, jumpsuits, the clothing, because they cover your ears. Is it so unusual to be, like, just honest as a society? Because, yeah. Racist, yeah. Like, I get why Kirk's upset. You probably could have de-escalated the situation without killing him. But the Klingons right. There's no state of war. We haven't invented the Discovery conflict. I think we had a Klingon episode. What was it? Did they fight? Did they go to war? We did. They almost went to war. But, like, there's light skirmishes. The Klingon was unarmed. If your ensign is that trigger happy, he shouldn't have been down on a planet in the first place. Also, thank you, Chekhov. Your hair seems much better. It might even be the same hair. I don't know, but it looks better. Good point, actually. I was going to say a meteor, but probably not. Can't they cloak yet? I can't remember. No, I don't think they cloak. That's later in the season. Because they get the cloaks from the Romulans? Question mark? No, the Romulans get the ships from the Klingons. It's been a while. Yeah, you're right. Shouting? I don't know if he is right, though. What about emotion is inefficient, Spock? I'd love this conversation. After shooting a man. Why does that fruit look like that? That fruit has a very distinctive two balls in a sack shape. Gosh, I hate it when the translator doesn't work. I'm actually really liking the set design, the costume design, everything about this culture. I think it's one of my favorite alien races so far, just in terms of look. This is my lovely pregnant wife. She'll become important later on. Maybe her name's Friday. That's why the episode's called that. I'm gonna call her Friday, because I'm never gonna remember that. Also, should he really have done that, Kirk? Come on. I think Kirk actually is supposed to be a really good diplomat. Yeah, Bones, there you go. Why is Kirk even here? See? Look, Bones should just do this. Look, alright, I am very harsh on Bones. I've been very harsh on Bones this watch through. Season 2 Bones is really starting to come around. I don't know if it's just these episodes, but he's brilliant here. And I don't think he's been racist once, which really helps. Powders? Oh, like, okay, powdered medicine. I thought he was talking about drugs or something for a second. Like, what? Well, I guess he was actually talking about drugs. I mean, yes, surely. But he's also right. Like, it might not be a military academy, but absolutely, you could pitch it like that. Hey, Earth Federation, it's been invented. See, this is a better take of the Prime Directive. I'm fine with, like, going up to a world, looking at it, and going, okay, this is too unstable, we can't meet them. But this is, like, your policies are your policies, but, like, if you want our help, our education, trade, something, whatever, like, yeah, we're here. You deserve to know what the universe is, you know? Those helmety things, I have no idea what to call any clothing in here. Do look a bit familiar. They might be taken from some culture I'm just not recognizing. I mean, generally, it seems to be based off cultures in, like, you know, sort of Mongolian or Scythian or the Russian steppes, or not Russian. Are they? I can't remember what they're called at the moment. Great steppes, Great Plains? I don't know. Hi, Cosmos. Come here. Oh, look at that. My little pug's come. He wants loves. He's discovered I have a heated blanket, and it's his new favorite thing. Come here. You want up on the chair? You want to tell the audience stuff? Go on. Say hi. Say hi to them. That's the mic. There you go. Good boy. I think they want to know if we've updated our car insurance. Nah, you'll never have insurance. I like that Chekhov was just looking at that that map. Oh my goodness, I've just realized I haven't put the blurred version of the episode in the background. Whoa, that escalated quickly. How do we get here? Am I fair enough? Kirk brought some rope to a knife fight and won. You know, on the other hand, when you talk about a culture that's a little too unstable to have Federation help, maybe this is the sort of thing we're talking about, you know? Maybe I should have put this in the Prime Directive video as an example. Stab you, blah. Wow, that Klingon's really bad. These scenes are always funny to me with the context of Enterprise, where we know that not only are Klingons just strong generally, but these are augmented Klingons that are even stronger and faster and better than normal Klingons. And Kirk just, like, casually takes them out, you know? Oh, Cosmos. You sleeping? If you hear the pug grunting like he's a disturbed old man, that's his happy noises. He's a pug. That's just what he does. Let the Klingon kill him. Why don't you kill him? Is the leader. Surely that's an awful suggestion. Overthrows the government, immediately sees the point of view of the old government. I thought they were honest. Well done. You could really make a commentary on revolutions here. I just don't think the episode's doing it. I know it. I've memorized every freighter in the Federation. It's a little slower than I remember, but still in 16 minutes we've accomplished way more than Section 31 did in 20. I like that planet, actually. So it's a pet peeve of mine. When you see alien planets from space, right? They usually look fake to me. And they look fake because often they're a roughly even mix of land and water. And it's all like random noise. By which I mean, when you look at Earth, right? You see things in Earth. Like you see the boot of Italy that just juts out there. Or like Florida, there's just a random jut out. You've just got like tiny little Europe poking out of Asia. You've got the Russian Far East that just pokes out of Europe. You get these weird little interesting bodies of water and land and shapes and stuff. And alien planets seem to actively avoid it. Like they want nothing recognizable or to look fake. I'm like, no, geography doesn't do that. Sometimes geography just puts like 1,000 little islands next to Greece, you know, or it does weird, interesting things, and you should put that in your fake worlds. That feels very difficult to enforce. Oh, okay. I'm like, why does it matter that he dies first? But look at this. This has got, like, weird stringy land bits on that planet. It's beautiful. Like, this is the most realistic planet I've ever seen in the Federation. Or in the franchise. Oh, Cosmos. It's okay. Lay down. Where you going? He's trying to find somewhere cozy. God. You know what? I was gonna make fun that no one could say Klingon. Maybe Klingon is actually how you're supposed to say it in TOS, because everyone is really enunciating the two syllables and pronouncing the G, or the... emphasizing the G, I think is the word. Oh, and my 3D print is done. I like Scotty as a captain. He's got a very serious, contemplative look. Almost like a TOS equivalent of Picard, in a sense. But he's also not afraid to... look, I love that planet. He's also not afraid to, you know, make these sort of tough calls like that. And he kind of knows what his duty as a Starfleet officer is. Look at him, so serious. Look, someone needs to tell these yeomans, just talk to them, because they always deliver these reports in the middle of recording a log. Like, wait, what's so important? It needs signed right now. It can't wait, like, you know, 10 seconds. I love that little fire pit, too. Even look, all these, the roof fabric of this little tent and the walls, it's detailed and it's interesting to look at. I mean, I don't know if the woman will let you. I feel like Bones is giving a bit of look like, what do you mean? I'm literally just gonna fix her arm. Can you let me in on this plan? Death by pillow. I also appreciate how Bones seemed to miss that girl's mouth, and so she kind of had to to work it back up. And well, you've changed your tune. Oh, Cosmos, you sleeping? Good boy. I move my throne outside the throne room because I need to let the captain escape. Didn't you hear that screaming and all the tussling? I've never noticed how much the TOS disruptors like the ones that TNG makes. I quite like that attention to detail. What is Chekhov's job on the Enterprise? I guess it'd be ops, because Sulu's, you know, the pilot, but Spock's not here, so he's science officer? Eh. Boom, 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 boom. Warp 2, that is slow. That's like Enterprise freighter. Cosmos. Here, let's keep an eye out. Do the Capellans ever use the phasers, or do they just sing at them in a group? It is a much slower episode than I remember. You know what we were saying earlier about dead air in Section 31? Imagine this stream, but like 10 times harder to find something to talk about. Is that outside California? I mean, it's a great location set, wherever they're doing. I assume it's... Oh, yeah, that's about the Vasquez rocks. And that gives me full control over your body. Consensual medicine? What's that? Nonsense. Slap. Like, are we supposed to like Bones here? Or, you know? I understand he's frustrated that his... Well, I don't want to say his patient, but she doesn't want to be treated, but, you know... Yeah, that's got to be the Vasquez rocks. I don't think I've ever seen looking away from the rocks, though. If you don't know, the Vasquez rocks are just some rocks that look kind of like this outside Hollywood that are in loads of movies, because it's interesting terrain that is immediately outside Hollywood. There you go, here's the bit I remember. Yeah, look, that right there would arrest any doctor, anywhere, except like some horrible backwater state. Arrest right there. This is why I don't like Bones. I don't understand. Like, I understand when he's good, what he's adding to the episodes, but like, he's racist and doesn't care for the feelings of his patients, that he just decided this was his patient too. Like, he literally slapped his patient. Also, this woman feels so strongly not to be treated in the way Bones was doing because Bones' touch made her uncomfortable. She slapped him. Twice, I think. Like, Bones, this isn't okay. Oh, that's right. I'm like, how? I remember they, like, blow up the rocks, but how? I mean, I guess they only need one communicator to, like, contact the ship. Is that paneling in the sky? find Kirk and Spock. There's, like, lines. Surely the remastered would have got... Yeah, no, it's a real sky. Look there's lines that are very regular and unmoving. I don't think it's something about the film, but it's only in the sky. Not this sky, though. There you go, by his head. There's a line there. Those exist. There's something. Maybe this part's in a studio, but that's a bit weird. And why would it be paneled anyway? You'd paint it blue, like just a wall. I do find it funny, though, that the sonic disruption's enough to, like, cause an avalanche, but, like, not hurt anyone's ear. Okay, we're getting there. Look at it. That's paneling. What is that? Is it, like, wires for explosives? Oh, yeah, sure. But that sound waves. 100%. I've seen the sonic screwdriver do things that are less sound wave than that. Nice grunt. Added in post after the rock hits him. I also love how in no way was that passage blocked. There's like a few small rocks. Don't lie to me. Also, wait, did they blow up a section of the Vasquez rocks? Can you do that? Or was that, like, layered or some weird thing? Oh, Cosmos, you waking up? My pug is just sitting on my lap, enjoying the heated blanket. Isn't that right, Cosmos? Yeah, no, those rocks were not there. I saw the explosion. I saw the pebbles. Also, God, I hope this, like, 5-second diversion is all it takes, because it took them, like, 10 minutes to set that up. I guess that was kind of the question Kirk asked. Also, wait, if she was human, would you have the equipment to deal with an emergency during pregnancy? Because I don't think you would, if I'm being honest. Oh, Cosmos, look at him. You're sleeping. Pugs sleep for 14 hours a day, and I don't believe it, because that means this dog's awake for 10 hours a day, and that just doesn't seem right. See, look, it's just all these interesting features in the Vasquez rocks, which I really hope we are at this point. I think for the second time, because the Gorn episode is the Vasquez rocks. Generations has them. It's where the final confrontation happens. They're all over Star Trek. Let's see. Is there a word for Stockholm Syndrome that's not, like, relying on the, like, disproven and sexist theory of Stockholm Syndrome itself? Yeah, there's bad undertones to this one that definitely weren't considered in the 60s, but... Boom, 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 boom. I guess he can't just say, screw it and leave, but, like, come on, deception. Bring up the thought, the idea. I wonder if that ship was even in the area, because in other Star Treks, I think they always go like, that ship's last known location was in here. It was en route between yada yada. Oh, did you wake up? You want to talk to the people? Cosmos, what do you think of this episode? You tell them. All right, Cosmos, good thought. Microtape. I don't think that's a tape, actually, you know? Wait, does the way they say Klingon actually matter? Oh, no, I remember. They say Enterprise. I also find this funny that he seemed to be expecting that, right? Like he seems to be like, they called us Enterprise. I remember that. Why didn't you bring it up earlier then? You know? I guess they don't know the Klingons are in the area, though. Maybe send a shuttle back? You've got shuttles. Well, then again, like... that's a dangerous mission. A probe? You got probe? Cosmos, you can't breathe into the mic. You can't breathe into the mic, baby boy. I know. You'll get belly rubs now. Wait, what is that again? Was that just like a power cell, or? That's not where she said, Bones, but good try. Like, oh, I just abused her until she accepted it. Between this and, like, Bones's, well, he has that thing in the Alice in Wonderland one where he's like, I'm a doctor. I never peek unless it's in the line of duty. And then he, like, peeks at the girl changing clothes. It's like, Bones would... Bones is probably in jail now. When they see him in TNG, that's he's finally been released from prison. Good boy, Cosmos. I don't think that's what that means, Spock. Like, it could be a cactus. It could have roots that go a mile underground. You don't know. I mean, sure, it... Don't even know what that means. Like, I don't live in a desert, and there are plants, like, 100 miles from the nearest river. I mean, you know, I think there's also a world where she doesn't want the child but still gives birth and lives. Just saying, you could just put it on that rock and leave the cave. Like, not that Bones would allow it, but... Good enough for me. We'll work on it later. What, did he just accept it? What was that look? He's like, all right. I will care for this baby. I will teach it the ways of medicine. Scotty can be his other dad, a serial woman hater, or whatever they describe him as. That episode's this season. No, I won't let the show forget that. You better bet every Strange New Worlds review with Scotty in it, I'm going to refer to him as everybody's favorite serial woman hater. If you don't remember, there's the episode. It's like Wolf in Sheep's Clothing or something like that, where it's a plot point that Scotty hates women, and this is just a known fact that everyone kind of chuckles off. It's like, there's Scotty. He literally has, like, essentially a psychological condition to hate women, just because. Here's this baby. I hid it behind the rock for some reason. It's very sturdy. Look at my son. No, what? I don't think, though, actually. That baby looks like it can support the neck, if I'm being honest. It didn't move at all. What did you do on that away mission? Bones, how many times have I told you can't keep abusing the patients? Starfleet's gonna find out one day that you're actually just a horrible person. I don't like Bones. I don't. Not too fast, you know. Just like middling paced. Actually, it's TOS. What's max warp? 7? I don't remember. That's convenient. Wait, so does that mean that the other ship wasn't? I mean, at the same time, the second... Oh, hey, our first invented in Russia. The second time could be a legitimate attack. It's like, right, the fake one didn't fool them. Let's just attack this freighter. I always found it weird with Chekhov, right? So you add a Russian character because the Cold War is going on. You know, you just kind of have a Russian character, show him as normal person. It's a sign that, you know, the Earth has solved its differences if Russia and America are on the same ship together. What I always found weird is that they made, like, Chekhov's defining character being incredibly patriotic about being Russian and claiming that, like, everything was invented in Russia. And I'm like, surely that nullifies a lot of the progressiveness, you know? It's like, oh, yes, America and Russia are working together, but those Russians are still awful proud, like... They still try and take credit for everything. It's like, okay. She hit me over the head with the baby. Yeah, they didn't like it. Someone needs to watch that baby. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. It kind of looks like it's falling in that shot. I don't know what the original did, but the way it was going a little down. 31 minutes, good lord. Maybe warp 7, Scotty, come on. At least 6. Is this the first time we're gonna see a D7? Not a... Is it? God, it's too long. Yes, it's a D7. This is an example, though, of a slower episode that is still engaging. I mean, it's not the most engaging episode. With Section 31, it was slow, but it didn't give me anything to be contemplating or considering or engage with, like no atmosphere. Yeah. Like, I could have watched this and Section 31 simultaneously. There we go. I'm liking Scotty as a captain, the vibes. Like, you'd have to rework the character a bit to be the captain. But I'm liking the vibes we're getting off him. It would not surprise me to learn if Scotty in some way influenced the creation of Picard in a couple decades. Look at that. So that's a captain's pose in the captain's chair. Also, maybe poor Uhura can get a view screen on one of those monitors, because she's always having to crane her neck and turn around. Poor woman's gonna get, like, neck cramps. It's a good thing they're funneling between the two rocks we're hiding behind. Also, I'm kind of realizing I don't think they're going to get that ore they want. Like, do the Klingons win this episode? Or are we going to pull some solution out of a place I can't say to get them their ore? I don't know, Federation stronger? Really, Kirk? Look, I'm going to turn around, count to 10, and give you a better chance to hide. But who said Was that just me? Someone was like, we will honor your law. I won't. I'm ready to die now. Yeah, they're not behind the rocks. Their corpses are behind those rocks, actually. I moved them. Well, at least it's a different pronunciation. Are you gonna believe that? You literally saw them behind the rocks. You literally saw them behind the rocks. How'd they get there? Wait. Oh, right in the belly button. Oh man, look at that expert warrior couldn't even get his thing off the hook. I do like how we did specifically set up how just, deadly they are with these shuriken things, and then it's like, no, it's stuck in the hook, guys. Ah, there's a Federation phaser. Yeah, a little louder this time. Maybe, like, stand up so the enemy can see you. Oh my gosh, this episode's almost done. I don't know, Spock. You only got, like, 5 minutes left. This is a weird case of an episode where I don't feel like much went on. They showed up to try and get mineral rights. There was a revolution, and then they ran away, and a baby was born. But, like, they did kind of make 50 minutes out of that. What the hell was that line read? It's like they took 3 different lines and cut them together in post. And also, I know you have weapons and batleths and yada yada. That was easy. I don't know. I feel like you could have told an interesting revolution-y story about... You could even have the story be like them fighting for very conservative ideals, you know, their traditional ideals of the past. And then the moment they get power, kind of realizing it's not that simple, or even that the ideals and the traditions just will not work. And that coming to realize that that they need to move forward and adapt. Yeah, maybe you could even have him overthrown by a second revolutionary or something. Like, I feel like there's still opportunity to say something, especially with the Cold War brewing. You could say something about moving away from, like, hatreds and fear. I'd say of the past, but, like, of the present. But, I don't know, it's just... They went with this. Why are they all afraid? You don't have the phasers. Oh, here come the cavalry. Scotty, how many times do I have to tell you? Named or not in red? Also, it's kind of weird that Scotty's shirt is darker. I wonder if that actually means, like, engineering versus security or not. Well, now that the village knows I'm a liar... We are honest to a fault, but, Why doesn't she know how to do this, though? I see what they're going for, like, with demonstrating the relationship, but why wouldn't she know how to do that to that extent? I hope he does. He goes to linguistics and is like, excuse me, Lieutenant. Everyone overheard that. James McCoy something. James Kirk. Have we not gotten to that? Is that the ending scene? I think there's a comic about that kid or a book or something in a few decades. Boop, boop. That was easy. Cosmos, where you going? That was it. Why not Spock? In fact, that's the point. Why was Kirk's name in there? Like, what did he do? She seemed very adamant to, like, only Bones. Orgopug. Yeah, it was fine. It was a fine episode. That's what I'll go with. A little slow. You probably could have cut those like 15 minutes. Actually, it's more like 5 here. I say it a lot. I think a lot of TOS episodes would have been improved if trimmed down to the traditional 45. Oh, here it is. Wolf in the Fold. It's 3 weeks' time that we're gonna learn Scotty is like a serial woman hater. We got some good stuff coming up, actually. Who Mourns for the Adonians is next up, the episode that gives us that one Lower Decks character. Then you have the string of Amok Time, Doomsday Machine, Wolf in the Fold, Changeling, I think that's Nomad, The Apple, and Mirror Mirror. The Apple you might have wanted me to gloss over. No, there's a good set of episodes in Season 2. But yeah, I think that is going to be it for today. I still have stuff to do today. It just didn't end up conflicting with the time for the stream. So I will say thank you all very much for watching.